traveling around Ukraine, you see very specifically how schools have been targeted, schools, schoolyards, kindergartens, and then it hits you. It hits you. It hits you that this is a genocide. This is about wiping out a generation of Ukrainians. It's such an amazing, beautiful, strong, stunning country, and that has to be represented visually as well as aid delivery, because aid is so important.
We've been looking at these powerful images tonight from photographer Mark Neville, documenting the human impact of the war in Ukraine, the lives lost and forever changed because of the ongoing violence there. Today, Russia launched another devastating attack on the capital of Ukraine, firing dozens of missiles, damaging critical infrastructure, and causing widespread power outages as temperatures plummet. So tonight we talked with several Russian refugees who just arrived here in the state of Indiana. They're telling us this violence is why they fled their homes. Our Emily Longnecker shares their story.
To look at the smiles and laughter in this room, you can't tell that the people gathered here are basically strangers to each other.
According to propaganda that's being sold in Russia, we're supposed to hate each other, but in reality, we're not. We're here helping towards common goal, peace in Ukraine.
Alona Voitko is Ukrainian, but has lived in the U.S. for several years now. If she was still in Ukraine, the men and women you see laughing with her would likely consider Alona the enemy. That's because these folks are Russian, all of them refugees seeking asylum in the U.S. For most of them, like Alex and his wife Yana, they've only been in central Indiana for a few weeks with their 8-month-old daughter, Anna.
No, I'm not going to ever go back. I want my child to have good life here, happy life.
Alex says he had to leave Russia because he was about to be put in jail.
Russia doesn't have freedom of speech, and because of my views, everyone started to be against him, me, and even neighbors. They were trying to watch his moves because of his views on what's going on.
Around this room, everyone has a similar story.
I can't go back. I would like to go back. I have family, friends, I love my country, but because of everything that's happening there, I can't go back.
Dmitry was a Russian police officer. Had he stayed there, he says he would have been ordered to kill Ukrainians. People like Alona, who here in the U.S. are helping his family.
I don't want to think about that. That's why I left. I don't want to think about that.
Instead, Dmitry's here in this Noblesville apartment, getting to know Alona and his fellow countrymen like Ildar, who was also facing jail for his views against the war in Ukraine.
Yeah. They calling it special operations. Not allowed to say that's war.
Here, these refugees aren't scared to speak up. They want the world to know what they've seen and gone through, and why they left the only home they'd ever known.
Before the war, I stood up against the government, and then when the war started, I continued to say things on Russian social media like boycott, and I was beaten by people, and I was told that, walk and kind of be afraid for your family, so that was another straw for leaving.
It hasn't been easy being strangers in a strange land, dreaming of their home country.
At home I had everything, and now I have nothing.
But these families know the reality had they stayed. That's why they're thankful to be here.
My dreams that there was no war, that people lived, and innocent people didn't die, and everyone were happy and in unity.
And if this room is a microcosm of what the world can be like, even between people from countries that are at war with each other, that's a world these folks hope to live in someday.